Leaders gathering in London to show support for Ukraine after that dramatic meeting in the Oval Office. President Zelensky joined NATO and EU representatives.
Overnight, Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer says Britain, France, and Ukraine have agreed to work on a ceasefire.
Britain and France unite with Ukraine to end the ongoing war. The war in Ukraine has raged on for 3 years of devastation, heartbreak, and relentless struggle. But now, amidst the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerges. Britain and France have stepped forward, joining hands with Ukraine in an effort to end the war once and for all. This war is not just a conflict between two nations, it has shaken the world. From the Eastern Bloc to Western Europe, from the United States to NATO, global leaders are making urgent efforts to stop the bloodshed. Ukraine, standing tall despite the overwhelming odds, refuses to back down. A heated meeting in Washington. Recently, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with U.S. President Donald Trump in what was supposed to be a landmark discussion about granting the U.S. access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. But the conversation quickly turned intense. Ukraine needed clear, unwavering support from the U.S., and it didn't get it. The meeting ended without a definitive agreement, leaving Ukraine at a crossroads. Yet, instead of despair, this setback ignited a fire within European leaders. The UK, France, and Germany knew they could not sit idly by. They had to act. A hero's welcome in the UK. Following the tough meeting in Washington, Zelensky made a swift decision. He cancelled his remaining engagements in the US and set his course for the United Kingdom. As soon as he landed, he was met with warmth and solidarity. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer personally welcomed him, offering a firm handshake and a promise, "We stand with Ukraine." This moment was more than just a diplomatic formality. It was a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope for millions of Ukrainians who had endured years of suffering. A historic summit in London. In the grand halls of Lancaster House, just steps away from Buckingham Palace, history was being written. Leaders from across Europe, Germany, Denmark, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Spain, Canada, Finland, Sweden, the Czech Republic, and Romania gathered for a crucial summit. NATO officials, European Union representatives, and even the Turkish foreign minister joined the discussion. At the heart of the summit stood three key figures: Keir Starmer, Emmanuel Macron, and Volodymyr Zelensky. Starmer's voice was firm as he addressed the room. Russia continues its relentless aggression while talking about peace. We must stand together. We must take action. Macron nodded in agreement. Zelensky, exhausted but determined, listened intently. The air in the room was thick with urgency. The plan for peace. After hours of intense discussions, a strategy began to take shape. Three key elements were proposed to ensure Ukraine's survival and future peace. 1. Arm Ukraine for strength. To negotiate from a position of power, Ukraine needed more military support. 2. Establish a European security force. A multinational military coalition would be created to prevent future conflicts. 3. Secure U.S. guarantees. The United States had to be involved to ensure that Russia would not break any agreements. This was not just about stopping the war. It was about ensuring that Ukraine would never again have to fight for its right to exist. Billions in aid and a pledge of support. The UK had already committed a staggering $2.8 billion in military aid. But that was just the beginning. European nations discussed utilizing €200 billion in seized Russian assets to fuel Ukraine's defense. Germany, initially cautious, stepped up in a big way. In a move that surprised many, Berlin pledged an additional €3 billion in aid, recognizing the urgency of the moment. Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock called for immediate action, urging EU leaders to approve a comprehensive financial and military support package. The debate over troops on Ukrainian soil. One of the most controversial topics at the summit was whether European troops should be sent to Ukraine. Macron was the first to bring up the idea. France had been considering the possibility for months, but the idea had been met with resistance from some European leaders. However, following Starmer's visit to France, discussions between the UK and France gained momentum. Would European soldiers step onto Ukrainian soil to help secure peace? The question hung in the air, unanswered, for now. A shocking move by Turkey. Just when it seemed like all the key players had spoken, another unexpected voice entered the conversation: Turkey. In a move that no one saw coming, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced that he was willing to send Turkish peacekeepers to Ukraine. His words sent shockwaves through the international community. For years, Turkey had maintained a careful balance between Russia and Ukraine. But now, Erdogan was taking a stand. He declared that Turkey would support Ukraine's sovereignty, going so far as to say, "Crimea belongs to Ukraine, and we will help make that a reality." This announcement changed everything. If Turkey, a NATO member with strong regional influence, was willing to deploy peacekeepers, it could reshape the entire strategy for ending the war. The clock is ticking. Despite all these efforts, one undeniable fact remains: the war is still raging. Innocent people are still caught in the crossfire. Cities are still being reduced to rubble. The summit in London has given the world hope, but now the real test begins. The European leaders have put forward a plan. Billions in aid are on the table. Military support is increasing. But will the U.S. step up and fully commit? And will Russia truly accept a peace deal, or is it merely buying time? One thing is certain: Ukraine is not alone. The next few months will be critical. The world watches, the stakes higher than ever. And as history unfolds, one question remains: will this be the moment when peace finally prevails?